Hi, everybody. Hey, Joanne. Hi, Bethany. Hello, everyone. Joanne, you're there twice. You're in twice. I see your face, and then I see a black box with your name.
Hello.
That's really weird. How are you
Gone?
in two places at once?
Is Yeah, I wish. Is it gone now?
No, the
Oh.
black box is still there. That's very weird. Are you in on your computer and your phone?
No, I accidentally did open up two windows, and I just closed one. So let me close whatever this is.
Okay.
Mm. Oh, this is. Oh, I see it. My computer did something weird. I've never seen this before. All right, am I gone now?
Nope.
I'm sorry. Let me
Okay.
quit.
Gotta love technology. Yes, I think oh, she just completely disappeared, except for the black box. Oh boy. Joanne, I still see your black box. Now she's coming back in.
She might have like two windows.
She was looking for it. Um, and Joanne still got two boxes. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Technological Chaos. It's okay. You have superpowers tonight. You're in two places at once.
Yeah, it's May. It's May, everybody. That's why.
Anything can happen in May.
Exactly.
All right. Well, hi everyone, and some doubles of others. Uh, I'm looking forward to this workshop today because I have always wanted to do screen printing with my classes, but it's kind of overwhelming because not only is it super, super expensive to start it so that you can have all the right equipment, um, but it's a lot of steps, and in, basically 30-minute class, it's a little intimidating on how to do it. So when Faye told me about this, I jumped all over it and I said, we have to do that. So she definitely volunteered to run this class, and I'm going to hand it over to Faye. I'm going to spotlight you for everybody. There we
Right.
are with your beautiful face,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
it's all yours.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Faye. Thank you for joining for tonight's no screen printing workshop. I'll be showing you some of the screen printing without a screen. So you are able to like print any of the patterns or designs on fabrics or on papers. I'm fortunate, as I told our staff earlier, I'm fortunate my school that I inherit, I have a printmaking class. I'm experimenting my own printmaking curriculum right now, so I get to play around with projects with my student. I always introduce like different projects, how to teach them printing products. So this is one of the techniques I show them using screen printing. The projects that I show my students, and these are some of my students' work. Every time when we do screen printing, I will have them create their own design on tracing paper first. So this is like one of their design. They would design everything in color first, because this is the first step. They will understand how to separate their color layers into paper stencil. So they would trace their design based on the color onto cardstock paper. So I can only show you here because they already cut it out. So on the cardstock paper, they will cut out their color layer. So this is like one of the layer, and then this is like another color layer for her design. And then with these paper stencil, they are able to stick it onto a traditional screen, and then they print their own design out.
Did you do the color-coded stencil intentionally to match the paint, or was that just who are
Uh,
sitting?
they designed it actually. I told the students like whatever the color you planned it to have, you're
Uh-huh.
supposed to like color them that way so then you know which part you're cutting, which layer. So I always tell them like, oh, you want the backgrounds to be black, which you're gonna print on black paper. So you have to make sure you design all your layer or patterns into specific color you want. So this is one of the examples.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Um, so then she printed out two copies, and then it's like a whole point of like printmaking is multi mass reproduction. So then they always do multiple copies. And then this is another student's. I usually start a lesson with poster first because
Mm-hmm.
poster is easier for them to understand how to create a design with, especially with letters. A lot of the times they will create letters and with like letters with hollow shapes, right? Like letter O, letter D, letter P. These are usually with a shape on top of an island on top of the letter. So you have to be very emphasized, like when you create the letter, you have to give them a bridge in
Right.
order to cut the letters. So this is something like you need to have that little specific bridge here so then your letter will come out as how you read them. And they did a lot of mistake and I'm not correcting them. Like I don't usually correct them because I want them to learn. Like
Right.
because the first time when I teach this lesson, I fixed a lot of the design. I was like, oh, you make sure you have the bridge, make sure you have the bridge on your design. And they were like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I was like, you know what? Cut it, cut the design out. When you cut it and you see, oh, how come the O is missing an island? I was like, great, now you learn it. So the next time I just have them like cut them out and then they make a mistake. I was like, great, so you redo it. Now you know what I mean by you need to have a bridge in certain shapes. And then the example for this one, she has four color layers, supposed to be four color, but because this is one of the student that has been in and out for many times, so then the final product will be just like this because she wasn't able to finish printing all the colors she wants. So we're only able to make it into like two colors. So
Right.
yeah, and then the recent projects I show them is this one. I want them to make a music poster. So I show them this is my example of creating like a legend music poster. I have them like I created one just like two colors poster. Is it three colors? So it's like Jimmy in white and then Hendrik in yellow with all this and then his face in black. So I usually would tell them like, oh, you have to shade everything in color, has to fill it in all. So then that way, you know, when you trace, I want the black color layer in one. So then they're able to trace them in the shape of his face.
Mm.
And then everything that's white, the white part, I forgot to save the stencil, so like this is the final product. So anything that's white color, they will trace it on the layer with the white color paper stencil, and then the yellow will be like in yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would understand, okay, so everything in the same color, they have to cut them out as how they draw them. And I emphasize a lot of the time is like, oh, make sure your letter has to be big enough not to be too small, because when you draw anything that is too skinny, especially like something like this in here, they're too tiny. They often make a mistake when they cut with the X-Acto knife. They will accidentally cut it off. So I would tell them try to avoid anything that it's too close or too skinny. And most of the time I would tell them like make something that's more like a bigger shape will turns out better. So then that's the final products that I show them. And because I'm running crazy today with all the testing, so I did not get to bring their example home.
That's okay. Quick
Yes,
question.
yes.
Because it's done on cardstock,
Mm-hmm.
how long or how many prints will that cardstock last for before it starts to like disintegrate or fall apart?
When I do that with the regular screen printing, it pulls out more ink on the paper with the
Mhm.
screen. So it's about 3 prints. That's pretty much it. But you can save them. Like these are all the design that I tell them carefully peel it off. You can save, let it dry. The next day you can use it again.
Okay.
But when you print during that time being, it's only a maximum like 3 or 4 prints only, so they have to do it a little quick. But today when I tried it with the sponge, I don't think the sponge is soaking as much ink as the squeegee pulling from the screen. So I
Right.
think you could actually make more than 5. I think it's approximately 5 prints on fabrics, because when I was printing this example,
Mhm.
it's very light. It's not as thick as squeegees too. So it feels pretty good on this. So I would say I believe I can make 5, and it depends on the design. If the design is like super big shape like this kind, you might have to be careful, and when you print them, just make sure you have clips to clip the stencil on the fabric and make sure it's like really flat, because when you're pressing them down, they do lift up a little bit with the gap area, so it might shift the paint a little bit. So
Okay.
I find these technique without a screen and squeegee works for all level of classes, like whether it's elementary, middle school, or high school works. Because if you're teaching elementary students, you can just tell them like, oh, you could actually print out some design, simple
Mhm.
design, like simple geometric or organic shapes, and then gave them some child, like kids safety knife to cut, because I believe they have a type of knife that it's kind of like ceramic. It's very very short, so
Right.
it's not the same like X-Acto knife that we use in high school level. It's like shorter, with a ceramic knife. It's like when you touch it, it doesn't really feel much pain. So that kind of knife will work great for elementary student to cut them out in the shape, and that way you don't have to push it for elementary student to understand too much in like, oh, the shape and shape separation, because I think they will have a little misconception of what do you mean I have to space them apart. So
Okay.
that's the part when you create like stencils, they might have harder time to understand. Oh, I have to draw the shape, not touching each other.
Right.
So like, it's only one. Same thing for a high school student too. This is one part that I have hard time telling them like, oh, make sure every time you create a design, paper stencil with the whole shape together in one color, all of these has to be like separate. Your shape cannot be touched together. Your letter has to have like certain bridges. So they take a couple days to understand what it means to create the paper stencil like this kind. So you have to show a lot of examples, or I find it easier is I gave them a bunch of these ready-made paper stencil and
Mhm.
show them like, you analyze it. What do you notice this shape is different than what you usually draw? So they will find it easier to figure out a way. Oh, I shouldn't create my letter into how I usually write them.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
the ones you do are high school kids, right?
yes, the
Yeah.
one that I did is high school kids. So
Okay.
the finest that you can create, this is like the finest. I find it, this is the skinniest line that you can go for. anything that is skinnier than this, it's harder to print out the outline of the design. So usually when student design anything, I would tell them you draw your design on tracing paper and then you have to outline it with marker again because markers are thicker. So
Right.
then when they cut it out, they will be able to follow the thicker outline from the marker rather than just the pencil. And that way they will understand, oh, I have to space these, for example, like in this little bear, these hand area, this little line in between those gaps, they will have to be spaced apart. They cannot be
Mhm.
connected.
Right. Do you
So
find that the edges on those lines curl up at all?
uh, these, you mean?
No, no. That like let's say that
Oh,
where
here?
the lines, the lines that are cut out,
Oh,
right?
the
At
line.
the edge of the head, do those edges ever curl up on you or on the kids while
The
they're
no, the only time when they curl up is after you print them. So like you see all these black inks around. After I
right?
print them, all the black ink will have the weight on it. So then they do curl up, but then I flatten them. Once they dry out, I will put them in between books. Like you stack them together. After a day or two, they're all
That's
being
smart.
flat again.
That's
So
smart.
yeah. So I don't find them having problem. Like right now, this has been used for 2 years already, and it's still fine as long as you keep them well.
Wow.
Because the inks that I use like fabric inks on this, so
Mm-hmm.
then once they dry it out, I flatten it. The inks start accumulating, so they become thicker and thicker. Actually, I
Right.
find it better that way.
Yeah.
If it's just paper itself, they are a little soft, so that's why once you start like putting inks on it and they dry, they will harden a little bit as well. So if you find like good example, you can tell the kids, save your stencil. I'm gonna use it. I will keep it. So
That's great.
yeah. So these are like some of the examples from 2 years ago. They like to make some like cartoon characters. So they usually make this kind. I told them to make this for their t-shirts because
Mm-hmm.
when I teach screen printing, I would teach screen printing with tie-dye at the same time. So I would tell the kids we do the tie-dye first to have the colors on the shirt, and then they will print the design on the shirt at the end. So then there will be like a tie-dye shirt weekday or something like that.
Your room must be a complete rainbow mess
It is.
after.
But I think, but this is the unit that they love the most
I
because
bet.
this is the time that they are able to like make colors on their shirt, that they can print whatever they want on their shirt, and they get to know how to make products that they see on the street or like in store. Oh, I didn't know T-shirt is made like this. Like they didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the fun units that they love the most. They always come back at the end of the year reflection. They will be like, "Oh, I really like this project."
That's
So
great.
yeah, that's why I've been pushing this to refine the lesson a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So today, everyone has all your material. Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna switch my camera over, so I will work with you guys to show you how to create your paper stencil and how you can print without a screen. Okay, so let me switch my camera over, and then I'll show you the material we'll be using. So you are going to need cardstock paper. Now, let me bring the brightness. Okay, you're gonna need a couple, I would say like 3 or 4 cardstock paper because you will test print it, and then you will need X-Acto knife. I didn't have fabric paint at home, so I have some acrylic paint, different colors, so you can get like acrylic paint. Try not to use the acrylic paint that it's very thick. Try to find the one that it's a little more fresh, and then they are not like super like more like gel texture. I think that I find that it's better than the thicker paint texture one. And then if you have a tray, paint tray, that would that would great. But if you don't have a paint tray, you can just use cardstock paper and put the paint on it too. And last, it's a sponge, just like regular sponge. I find the sponge that you use, try not to find the one that it's like the blue color. They have a lot of bigger holes on it because those does not give you a really fine texture. So these one are really fine, like you don't really have those big holes on them. So these will work better. And okay.
Could you use a makeup sponge also?
I believe so. I think
That's what
I have
yeah.
never tried those because I find them a little too small. So I like these kind, just like the dishwasher one
Hmm.
that you use for dishes. Or you can find the one that if you have like a clay ceramic class, you can use those little sponges too. Those should be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we will start something simple. You can create any shape you want. So let me get a, sorry, I need to get a marker because I forgot. All right, so when you teach this lesson, I will show students to just create some simple shapes first. One is the shape is basically circle, something like really simple. You can show them like geometric shape, organic shapes. And then when you have like these regular shape and you can teach them, another one is lettering. Show them the letter that is like regular when you draw letter D, but you have to make it into a stencil. You want it to show the middle part, the island, to be able to visit, to be visible in your design. So you have to divide at the bottom or on the top here. You have to divide these two lines, the straight and the curved line, separately into shape. So I will show them like this. You have to make your letter like a box letter. And then all of these lines has to be separate. And then the other way is like, Miss, they usually ask, but can I have one of these part connected? Yes, you can. There's another way is you can do it that it's connected on one of the top. And you just need to have a little bridge for them to walk into the island. So as long as they can achieve this outcome, it will work. I explained it before when the kids draw the design like this, and I keep saying like, no, it doesn't work that way. And then the kids will be like, what do you mean, Miss? I still don't understand what you say. And I was like, here's the X-Acto knife. You cut it out and you will see what I mean. So they tried it a couple times. They're like, oh, now I see what you mean. Especially you show them to cut the letter P,
Right.
right? Or letter Q, something like that. Any of the letter with an island on in the middle. You just tell them like, okay, I want you to cut this letter out that we can see it as the letter itself. And then they will make a mistake. They're like, oh, okay, now I know what you mean by have to have a bridge in the letter. So that is the first step. You show them how to create stencil before you move on to create something very complicated. Now, I'm gonna create something like a simple design as I showed you guys earlier. This little heart pattern, right? You can create any design. You can create something simple just for test out today, or you can create something like really intricate. It's up to you. Just do like a little practice. I want you guys to try to incorporate some simple shape and letters together, like a little simple poster if you can. Okay, so get a new paper here, and then What should we do? Let's do a rainbow. Yeah, my marker is dying. So I'm gonna just do a simple shape with a lettering. Oh, and when you tell students to do a practice, make sure to tell them to create a design with letters that is just like, how can I describe this? Letters with hollow shape and letters without hollow shape. You know, like just have them like create a word and then with design go along with it. And then have them create all this randomly. Just do a practice. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be anything like beautiful. Just so they know how to create a paper stencil first. Especially for lettering that they might want it to incorporate for their poster design or like their shirt design, because they have to understand how to create the island on top of the shape, especially they're creating multiple colors. Like the poster I showed you guys earlier with the, where's the other one I showed you earlier? Like, like this one. Like this one, right? Because I printed Jimi Hendrix's face first, so like you see the hair and the face, all this whole thing is one shape, and then his face in the white shape silhouette, it's on top of it. So students have to understand how can you create this big silhouette shape layer has to be printed first, and then it's okay to have the island in the middle because they're different color.
Is the base paper of that print red?
This is, yeah, it's like orange color.
Okay, so then you printed the black first,
Mm-hmm.
and then the yellow, and then
And
the
then the
white
white.
last?
Yes.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
the color of choices doesn't really matter because most of the paint color, they are not transparent. Especially
Mhm.
fabric paint, they are not transparent. So if they wanted to print something lighter color on top of darker one, I have never find any issues with this. So you can tell them like don't worry about the color choice, because they are opaque, they will be covered it. You just need to make sure that in their design, they have to color everything for their understanding. And also you can check whether all of their letter design it's separated with the little bridge. You know, as I keep mentioning, that you need to have the bridge for people to walk into it. Same way on my example here, you need to have that little bridge for people to go into this little island in the letter A. If you're not able to go to this maze, that means that letter is not successful.
Got it.
Yeah. So now I'm going to cut this out. Once you have the design, of course you're gonna help them check once. But if they do make mistake and you tell them once and they still don't understand it, just let them cut it out. I find it better this way. It's just like, okay, that's okay. You don't understand, that's fine. Go ahead and cut it. Once you cut it, you find it, oh, I make a mistake, miss. The letter A disappear. like I don't have the little shape in the triangular shape in the middle. I was like, yeah, I keep telling you because you don't have the bridge, right? You don't have the bridge. That's why the island is not connected to the mainland. So, so that's why they will learn it after they make the mistake when they cut the first time.
Okay, we
So,
have a question.
mhm,
Bethany would like to know, would you say like in reduction print, linoleum printing, you
mhm.
should start with the color that you need the most of, and then the color that you need less of, and then finally the color you need the least? Does it work this way?
Linoleum is a little different because when you do, especially color reduction in linoleum, you usually print from light to dark. Because
Okay.
once you like cut it out the linoleum, at the very last layer, usually is the shadow layer. So you wanted to emphasize a little bit different. You always work from lighter to darker. So it's a little different than screen printing. Screen printing, it works the same. It should work from light to dark just because of these projects that I work. I find it the colors that we use doesn't quite matter because the acrylic paint, they will cover it. And then very often student will want it to mix color. So I tested a couple, like I tested 2, 3 years, and I don't see there's problems with this one. So this one I will let them kind of play around with the color. I didn't now emphasize what color has to go first. The only thing that has to be emphasized, especially when they're printing poster, they should print what is on the frame first. So instead of printing the black color first, I actually print the yellow because I want student to know like this is the frame. Because once you have your frame structure, you will know how to register your main subject. A lot of the times they will want it to start, oh, I'm going to start with something on top, which is normal how we start drawing. We always draw from top to the bottom or like in the center to the bottom. But in printing silkscreen, especially, they don't. We need to learn how to register, and then students usually find it register with paper on the side. They have a hard time lining them up perfectly. So a lot of the time, their copy will come up a little bit off center or like off registered. So I told them to use the clear sheet on top that they can just like print the frame out, and every time when they print, they are able to line up the design better.
I'm sorry. Can I ask a question? I might have missed this.
Of
Yes,
course.
go ahead.
Are there registration holes that they're doing? How are they doing the registration?
I don't have the registration holes on
Or are they
this.
the clips?
Yeah, I don't use the clips on
Okay.
this because in my classroom, I have classes that are like back to back, so I don't have time for them to like register because usually they will
Yeah.
take a long time. So what I did is I have, for example, this is the printing area. On the
Hmm.
left side, I will have a clear light mylar sheet on top of this. So I will have them tape like a mylar sheet on the left side, and then they can flip the mylar sheet, and then they can just like line it up underneath every time. They can see, oh, this is where the frame is, and they can line up over there to print it. But they do use is with the mylar, they do make a registration with the tape at the corner. I usually teach them like put a one tape on the left top left, and then make a corner at the bottom left as well. So that way they can always find a lined up on the table. But just to have the mylar sheet on top, they can 100% clear that, oh, the paper is lined up perfectly.
And and now are you printing their image on Mylar or are they just tracing it with a Sharpie and like just to f flip it back and forth?
They print it on Mylar. They
Okay.
print it, yeah. Sometime the student will run out of the the screen printing set, like a little board. I set it up for them because sometimes we have more kids in one class or the other. So when that happened, I usually just tape the screen on the table. Like I use tape on both sides and
Mm,
tape it on the table so the screen will place it on top and then the mylar will be on the side here. So then they can flip it and print their layer design on the mylar first, and then they can lift it up and every time they can check it. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut this out to show you guys the design. I should purposely make a mistake here so then you will know what I mean by a lot of the students make the same mistake. Let me cut out this rainbow shape first. Usually before I start the lesson, like have them actually do the project, I will have them do just one practice for cutting random design paper stencil they create. Nothing crazy, just have them create something with geometric shape and letter. And then to have them practice how to use X-Acto knife and to create a stencil first. Once they understand how X-Acto knife work with stencil on cardstock paper and understanding like how do you create stencil with letterings, then they will move on to the official projects like you're gonna design this, coloring them. So give them time to, I will give them at least 1 week, brainstorm the design, color finish it before they even move on to separate color layers. They are not allowed to move on to the next step until their design is fully color. And when you teach middle school or elementary students, if you're able to get the special knife, like the knife I mentioned earlier, that is ceramic blade, then it will be great. If you can actually show them how to use X-Acto knife too. I have taught them before. I have taught it middle school before, and they use it fine. Of course, you have to like really emphasize, like, guys, be very careful. And also, from time to time, I'll tell them like, oh, your blade sometimes will come loose because you keep cutting them. So just make sure that like when you feel like the blade is a little wiggling, just twist them tight on the handle here. So then they'll be fine.
How do you handle security in the classroom with the blades?
Um, For middle school, it depends because I don't teach this lesson until I know the kids very well.
Uh-huh.
So by then the kids will really know like you cannot play around with it.
Right.
So I've never have a problem with the kids, but they will be like, oh, miss, I accidentally pulled my finger. They will have a little blood but it's not something major that they will be like swing around with a knife. So in high school, I never have an issue with the knife. But elementary school, I'm not sure. I have never taught them with with this kind. That's why if it's for elementary school student, if you can have a knife that allow them to cut any shape, you can print out some of the simple shape patterns and then have them poke like a little hole in the middle with a scissor and just use the scissor to cut them out as well. Just try to keep the shape a little bigger so then they can follow along with the outline to cut it. I'm gonna draw one in the bottom here just to make one mistake like my student did. This is the one that they have been saying many times. So let me find a better here. So my student always say like they don't understand what I mean by having a bridge, and they always draw letters how they always draw this way. And then I keep telling, oh, you have to create a little bridge, you know, in between the little triangle and this part, the bottom part here. And they were like, what do you mean by a little bridge? I don't understand it. Even though I draw it out like, oh, you have to draw it like this, they still don't understand it. So I have them, oh, you can go cut this out. So once they start cutting it out, once they cut out the outline of the letter A, now this will be the letter A that they see. And then they will tell me, okay, miss, now I know what you mean by the little bridge that needs to separate the letters. So let me finish this letter. Okay. Once a student cut out their design on the stencil, I usually would tell them to clean it up too. Try to like find any of the corner, especially we will usually, they will try to like tear the pieces off rather than cut them clean. So they will always have a little fuss at the corner. And I will always tell them like, you have to make sure you clean up all of this little corner, because any of this little fuzz at the corner will show on your design when you print them. Little thing matters in your design, especially you are screen printing this, or you just like paper stencil printing it on fabrics. They can't show it. So I often go back and tell them, use your blade, cut it clean, so they don't have those little fuzzy boo-boos on your design. All right, so here is my design. Did you guys do any design? If you like to share, feel free. Oh, looks cool. Wow, I like the flower. Very nice. Yeah,
Flower power.
nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we'll take a couple more minutes to cut your designs out, and then I will set it up my table and then show you. If you have fabric, any scrap fabrics, you can bring it to the table and try it out. I have some of these like old racks, so I just like torn them into small pieces. So I usually will print couple design and show my students in class, so then they would know like how it works for, and then when they see you printing it out, they will be more amazed to create what they want to create.
Definitely.
Yeah. I usually find my students very excited to see when I do demonstrations.
Yeah.
And I usually do demonstration in person rather than showing video because each classroom is a little different. What material you have in your classroom is different than other teachers. So it's always better if you can record yourself, that's great. But I usually like to demo in front of them, and that way they will be able to take notes like, oh, this is the first step, what you have to do. And they will write down notes on their notebook. And then when they create their own, they will be able to go back to their notebook and see what step they should be doing it.
Okay. Got it.
Cool.
Yay. And I have my little islands.
Awesome. All right. Yes.
Fuzzy. Yeah, there we go.
This is really nice because you don't have to worry about trying to get them to do everything backwards like you do with linoleum block printing.
Exactly, exactly. A lot of the students always ask because we started with linoleum projects before screen printing.
Hmm.
So then student will always ask me, do we need to flip the design when we create it? I was like, no, you don't have to. Actually, you just cut it out, your design, how you draw them. The only thing that you have to flip your design is when you put your paper stencil on the screen because they have to be backward in order to see it from the front. As long as you can see the image from the screen that it's look exactly how you draw, then it's fine. But then that is the only step that you have to flip and tape it on the screen. But since we are not using screen, so they don't have to worry about like reverse image.
And I also really like how you're letting them make mistakes because as teachers, I find we often try really hard to
Correct them.
not, yeah, to not let that happen. But the reality is that they're going to learn so much more when they make the mistake themselves.
Yes.
And I like how in this project, unlike with the linoleum carving, like if they make a mistake, it's there. Like they can't go back. Where here it's like, oh, they just get a new cardstock. Like,
Yeah, so for this
yeah.
way, I think a lot of people would think, oh, screen printing, oh, a lot of material I need. I need a screen, I need squeegee, and I need a lot of setup. There are ways that you don't need all of these, and I find this is the most easy way to start. Just have them experiment, to fall in love with printing first, then they can go into college. And I always tell the kids, there are projects in this class you might not like it, but there are projects you might fall in love and in the future you might want to do it. So this is one of the projects that actually have kids coming back to school and tell me, I did the shirt at my home and I do the same way how you show me. And I was like, awesome, I got one kid do that. That is something. So yes, so this is the way that like you don't need a lot of equipment. You just need feel heavy quality color, stock paper, and then just an X-Acto knife and some paint, and you will work. So are you guys all ready for printing?
Yes.
Great. So I'm gonna set it up on paper first. I'll print it on the paper first, and then I'll show you on fabrics. So on when you're printing on paper, or whether you're printing on paper or on fabrics, make sure you secure them. Always like tell the kids, oh, you have to flatten, clean it up your design. There's nothing on your, like it shouldn't have any dust on your paper. Because when you print them, any of those little pieces, like if it's, imagine this is not red color, if it's just tiny piece of paper, you print it on top, it will become a blob because you don't see it. Once you peel it up, it becomes like whatever the surface color. So just remind them to clean up your surface, and then you can tape your stencil on the paper where you print it to secure it. And then that way, when you're printing them, you don't have to like keep holding your hand on the paper, and you're not shifting your stencil as well. So I'm gonna do that as well. Let me get my tape. All right. Okay, so now if you have paint tray for the student use, that's great. You can put all the paints on the tray. If you don't have it, that's totally fine. You can just use cardstock paper or any of those like paint palette paper. I find paint palette paper actually works really nicely because you don't have to clean up. You can just like throw it out at the end. It saves a lot of cleaning time. So put the, as I mentioned earlier, when you work with the paint, even though you're using acrylic paint, try to find a paint that it's a little more soft gel texture, because I find some of the acrylic paint, they're thicker, they're thicker texture. That one works a little, they're not as smooth when they put the pressure onto the stencil. So I like the one that looks a little more fresh. And then you just like press it down your sponge. Try to like get your sponge absorb into the ink. It doesn't matter. It's okay for them to like press it a lot, and then once they press a lot of ink on one of the area, just have them press it down on a separate area to flatten down the ink. When you see the inks are not very blobby texture, more like fine texture, then it's ready to go. It's like more like this kind of fine texture. Then it's good to put the sponge on the stencil. If you have these kind of blob texture on your sponge, then you might want it to like flatten it a little bit more too. Okay, so now you just simply go along and press it onto your design. Do remind students when they have the design as what I created in the middle here, there's a little thin line for the rainbow part. When you press the pressure on it, they do lift up a little bit, so they just have to be a little gentle to go, and don't try to like pull it. They have to pull it a little lightly. And do it a little slower. And this way, when they're pressing color, you can tell them to mix multiple color. You can have them like put a few different color on the top, and then they can mix them from the top to the bottom, kind of to create the rainbow row too, so they can see it. So now this is done, and when you flip it, ta-da, that's your design. Yay. So you can see like it's very clean shape. So If you have like a little fuzzy at the corner, as I mentioned earlier, if you don't clean it up, you will see it on your design too. So like this is one of the simple practice. Have them like create something really simple with geometric and letter shape, and then they will cut it out and do like a little practice. They will understand better before they create like a really fine project. And then same process, I'm gonna let this dry on the side and I will get my fabrics here. And then I'll find a different design. This is one of the design my student created. It's like a little ram. So I'll put it right here and show you guys the design. Let me get more ink. And if you are able to get fabric paint for them to print, you can actually tell them to create a scar with the paper stencil. They can just create something like a radiant pattern and just like a little corner design, and then have them constantly turn around to create a bandana or like t-shirts.
You said a scar?
Yeah,
What do you
like
mean a scarf?
I order a lot of bandana, so it's like,
Oh, a scarf.
yeah, scarf.
Ah, okay.
So I have students create scarf with designs, and they're able to make like bandanas for their pets or scarves for themselves. So this ram design has a lot of like intricate lines running on the face. So when you do the printing part, do have to be very careful and try to like use your finger to press on those delicate line in between, in case when you are lifting up your sponge with the pressure of the paint, they do tear a little bit sometimes. So if you tell them to go a little slower on the same area and just like hold it down, those lines will help. This is the part that student needs to be very slow. They cannot just go and put a big blob of ink and then like pull it out, which it happens before, and then they tear the design. So I learned to tell them you have to go slower when you do the painting, because it's a little different than regular screen printing. You can just pull the squeegee and everything will go smoothly at once. Missing some corners. Oh, one thing to remind everyone is tell students not to lift their design, like do not lift the stencil up when they are pressing the ink. They have to wait until they finish the whole inking before they lift it up. Because very often when you lift it up, you might not line up back to the same placement because the fabric absorbs ink. They do shift a little bit, or they absorb the ink, they will shrink a little bit. So try to tell them, be patient, just ink the whole thing before you surprise yourself with the design, how it turns out.
There are always the impatient ones.
Yes, but just have to remind them like if you don't want your design to turn out a disaster and you have to do it again, just wait. Just wait a little bit until you fill up all of the little gadget area corner, and you checked it, it's all painted fine, then you can reveal it. So if you reveal, then you'll be surprised how it turns out. So this is like one of the ramps. Um, yes.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Did
So
now did your students get those images off of the internet?
some do, some yes. Most of the times they will look up images from internet.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the students, they wanted to do something more of what they like, even though it's just character or like video game characters that they like. They tend to go online and see, and then they will have to modify because of the project itself. They cannot
Right,
just draw them regularly.
right.
So I do tell them, oh, you have to modify. If you're doing like one color prints, this is one of the layer we did not mix them, like we don't have a back layer color, so then put the ram on top of a back layer color, so they don't have to worry too much of like, oh, what should I do to separate this piece on the horn and this piece of the eye in a different layer.
Mm-hmm.
When you have them try their first one color print, then the second project you can tell them to create two, three color layer. And this is it. So this is the no screen printing project.
Wow.
Yeah. Any questions?
I did mine. I love it.
Oh, I like it. You have multiple colors. Yay.
Well, can you see it?
Yes, yeah, Ella.
And then I did,
Wow.
you
Oh,
see
that's
that?
great.
Flower.
Yeah.
Oh, this was so cool and so simple.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Wow.
For younger age kids, they might have to like, oh, use a paper to block. For example, like you have flower power and two line. For
Mm-hmm.
them, they probably need to like use a paper to block the word underneath, so then they can just ink the top one first and then put the paper out and then cover the other one and print the other color.
Right. Well, I noticed also because they were very close together,
Mm-hmm.
they started, when I did the first word, it started to wrinkle and like warp.
Yes, yeah, 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 a little.
So yeah, it would probably be better to have done them on two separate pieces.
Yes, yes.
But
But also
we have
depend,
more experience with this, but the kids would definitely need to do it.
yeah, but also depends on the cardstock paper. I buy the one that I bought, I think it's 96 pounds. So they are thicker. So then they hold up the paint better. so they
Right.
don't buckle as much. If you use like regular copy paper or like even 60 pounds cardstock paper, they will buckle.
Mm. Yes, it
Yeah.
was buckling and it buckled very quickly. So yeah.
Yes. So that's why when you tell the student to like press the paint, they have to be a little more fine texture, like more like these kind of fine texture.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you see any of these like lumpy texture, then you are carrying a really thick layer of paint on your sponge. So when you press it down, especially you press it down in area that it's like this kind of fine small pieces of shape, then in between these bridges they will be a little weaker to hold up that heavy weight.
Right.
So just have to keep in mind to tell student you have to be like very gentle with the paint. You can go back couple times. Like I will go back on the same spot 2, 3 times. You press it down gently, but don't just like press a big lump sum at once and then lift it there.
Right. Am I the only, did anybody else do the project? No, I'm the only one that's, wait, let's see. And all the black boxes. Oh my God, the black boxes. All right, well, I guess I'm the only one that tried it. Well, oh, let's see. I'm checking the comment boxes. Let's see. Laura says, I haven't done this project, but in my middle school, this is what I do. My kids and their adults sign a safety agreement. I only offer them to those with the agreement and only if I trust them. If not, they should make designs that can be cut with scissors. No one leaves the room until they're all returned. There's no walking around the room when knives are out. They're always capped when not in use, and caps go in a container at the table when they're in use. Very good.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I've done something similar where when we've used the lino cutters,
Mm-hmm.
everyone has to do the safety, like sign the agreement, they get the instruction, and if they cut themselves, well, usually it's because they make a mistake.
Right.
Um, but I've have no one teacher friend that I actually years ago I was her student teacher. She had pretty big classes, so she would limit only 5 X-Acto knives total is all she had. And they would have to wait, or she would have something else for them to work on. Because if you have big classes, trying to keep track of 24 X-Acto knives is really hard. So she had one table. You did your X-Acto cutting at that table with the 5 knives, and that was it.
I
And
have.
that was in high school?
This is middle school
Oh,
that she
middle
was
school.
doing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think middle school needs to be a little more cautious. High
Mm-hmm.
school, I have the biggest class on my roster is 34, and I
Wow.
usually have like 28 to 26 kids show up.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 25 Exacto knife and I'll pass it all out. I don't have problems getting them back. But I do like the safety agreement. I need to work on that. But
I
I
also,
think, yes, I think I heard this. I've never done the safety agreement because I usually just tell them when I introduce the lesson, I was like, these are sharp blade.
yeah.
You will somehow, like I can guarantee nobody's gonna get a little blood. You will get a little hurt sometime, but it's just like a mosquito bite and they're cool with it. But I don't usually have problem getting them back. I think there's only one was like 2 years ago. One of the kids took the blade out, and then the dean caught it because he was like playing. He was doing the project in a different classroom, and he got caught, and and that was the only time. So after that, I was very careful. I usually ask the kids, and I'll count them before they leave. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
everyone give me. So, but I do like the safety agreement. I'm gonna work on that.
I actually just finished the lino cutting
Hmm.
unit and I have a sign out sheet that
Mm,
every student has to sign their name and I have kits with they're like little plastic envelopes where each kit has the handle and the 5 blades and the kits are numbered So the kid writes down the number that they borrowed out, and then they initial it, and then they have to give me their ID to hold on to so that I
Oh,
have
wow.
the
Okay.
ID, to compare to anything that's missing. And then they have to sign it back in, make sure all the five blades are in the pack, and I give them their ID back when everything is checked out so that, everything is accounted for. And if anybody doesn't return it, then I have the ID as proof but I did not have any issues at all either.
That's smart.
And you do the demo and the safety issues with that and show them how easy it is to hurt yourself if you don't follow the safety instructions and all of that. So I did not have any issues, which was great. Yeah. You just got to be careful because you just never know.
Yeah, I think usually for teachers, I think you will feel more comfortable when you know your kids long enough.
Hmm.
Like I don't have them work on X-Acto knife until like spring term. Usually in the fall term, they just work on linoleum or foam plate for printmaking project, and then in between we'll do like book making projects. So
Hmm.
I will show them like how to create a book or like accordion book or like Japanese binding books, something like that. Before I feel that a student it's all like knowing the class rules and policy with using tools before we move on to like using blades.
Right. Laura has a question.
Yes.
She says, I bought cheap knives on Amazon and have mixed feelings. I've been debating between getting branded knives or just trying branded blades. Does anyone have thoughts about them?
Mm, I don't. My school my schools have funding from DOE, so we usually just buy it from DOE, and we can only use from DOE vendor.
Yeah, shop DOE, right?
Yeah, so we always give either grant or funding, so I have never really had issue like replacing blades, and kids don't really have problem using any of the tools in classroom. So so far, I wouldn't use anywhere else because I don't want to spend my own money to buy stuff for kids.
Right,
A lot of the time, the kids will ask me, "Can I bring in whatever material they have at home?" I was like, "Feel free, but it's yours. If you lost it, it's yours."
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I've either used Exacto brand or I have the School Smart brand, the red ones that
Mm.
have a cap that it comes with the cap.
I've never used
Um,
those. Yeah, but I've used the one from a different school. There's a middle school teacher show it to me. She have those ceramic blades for little kids. That's why I keep mentioning at the beginning. They
they're like
look.
green, right? They're little green ones.
They have white color. The one that I used was white blade. It was like a white. The whole thing is white. It's like a little thicker than the X-Acto knife on the handle,
Mm-hmm.
and then the blade is really small. I think the blade is maybe like 1/4 inch, something like that, very short. So, and when you run the blade on your hand, it feels dull. It feels like not very sharp, but when you cut it, it's easy to cut too.
Right.
So you can find it on Amazon. I think she bought it on Amazon.
I bought a set of the green ones. It was green and white, and the blade was white, and it retracts. But I could not figure out for the life of me how to get the blade to stay out while you're cutting.
Ah,
Because it's like it has one of those push tabs where to push it out, but I didn't know how to lock it out in place. And I just gave up and threw them back in the closet because I was just too frustrated.
yeah. The one that I tried it was like it's a white plant, a white handle, and then with like an orange rubber cap. So it's kind of just like X-Acto knife. The only difference is like they're ceramic blade.
Hmm.
So I don't know how you change the blade because I just used it when I was like doing the sample in the classroom. but I never tried, like I've never ordered them because they don't have it on Shop DOE.
I don't know
So
if you can change a ceramic blade because I
um,
don't think those actually get dull very as quickly as, the number 11 X-Acto blades. Um,
right, I believe so. Yes, I
yeah,
only tried, yeah, because I only tried it once, so I wasn't sure. But I was like, oh, this is really cool for kids to use. Actually, it feels a little safer
right.
because X-Acto blade, like they do come loose. That's number one. The blade will come loose the longer you work on them.
Mm-hmm.
Second is the blade will get dull, so the kids sometimes they don't understand how to like change them, and then when the blades come off, they were like, "Oh, miss, it's gone." And I was like, "Come on,
And
guys."
the tip also cracks off very
Yes,
easily.
yes. If they
Yeah,
press it so hard, it will. So
yeah,
then, yeah. But for the limited choice that we have on Shop Dealing, this is what we can use.
right, right.
So on the ceramic knives, are they long and skinny like an X-Acto or are they fat? Because I just Googled it and it brings up a lot of like kids' kitchenware knives that are like really fat.
They are skinny. Then
Okay.
they're like tiny. Let
They
me
look like
check.
an X-Acto knife then.
Yeah, they're just like a
Okay.
small version of it. They're pointy and they run smoothly because like
Oh,
they're
here's
easy to
something.
cut as circle. Yeah.
Okay. I think I just saw one. It says penknife ceramic. They're expensive.
They are. They
They're like
are.
$20
Yes,
each.
they are
Okay.
expensive. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
they
they're
are.
called a penknife
Pen.
ceramic. Okay.
Okay.
Let me write that down.
Yeah, because I remember I was like, they are really nice, and she was like, yeah, they are expensive. Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
Dick Blake
Probably
also is
expensive
selling
because
them.
they don't get dull, so you don't have to constantly replace
True.
the blade
True.
and that it lasts longer,
Yeah,
right?
probably. Uh,
Safety.
okay, I found it. It's not. I found this one. This is the one that I use. I'm gonna share to the.
Uh,
It's only like $9 something. This is the one that I use in the room. So, copy
And that has
and
a
I'll
locking
share
mechanism
here.
to hold it to keep it on the
No, this one
on
it
the
doesn't have. This one is just like a pen. You pull out the cap, and that's the blade. So
Oh,
it's not like a punching. It's not.
so
Yeah.
what's the green handle, the green slider for?
I think I think you lock in the front. So if I look at the picture right now, it's orange. Like in the front of the blade is orange. It has a little arrow. So I think that's how you lock them.
Oh,
Or
I'm
maybe
looking at the green one.
oh
Who
you look
posted the green one?
the one that I share on the chat, and that's the one that I use in the middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the white handle with orange cap. So that
Oh,
one,
Laura, you sent it. Okay, hold on.
Now it all makes sense because the blade is like teeny tiny on it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
no, that is
So
great. Yeah.
yeah, for like little kids is great. And this blade, I cut it with circle. It cuts fine. Like you don't have to turn. It kind of works like pencil.
Yep.
So they are expensive compared to X-Acto knife, a little bit more. But if you have the budget, I think you can go and try it and see.
Well, they're both about the same price. The one that Laura posted was the green one,
Okay.
and they're both $9 and change. Yeah. And Laura's is retractable, and yours just has the cap, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you have a hard time figure out how to like keep the blades up, like I think the one I share would be easier for the kids. Like they don't have to constantly like pushing it, and then they will maybe somehow snap the what is that called? The spring in the back, and then it won't work anymore. So
Wow. The science behind these has got to be insane because I can't figure out how that works. I really
So
can't.
I just want to let you know I tried to do the multiple layers. I'll show it to you. I needed to dry a little between them, but I did do that. So I don't know if you can see that.
Let's
oh,
see. Oh, look at
cool.
Oh,
that.
nice.
Yeah,
Misty, that's so cute.
I
looks really cool.
needed to
Yeah.
let the paint dry before you put the other layers on it.
Yes, yes.
But I thought it would be fun just to do it anyway. So yeah,
Yes.
so thank you.
That's where
No
you need the
problem.
heat gun.
No, but if you have class time, because I meet my kids every day, like 5 days a week. So
Mm.
I'll tell them today you only print one layer. When you're done with this layer, let it dry. Tomorrow you print a second layer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when it comes to printing, you can't rush. You want it to just like do, especially for us too. Class time is only like 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time they set up to print a layer to clean up,
Yeah,
it's very tight.
yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but thank you. This was
You're
fun.
welcome. Thanks. Thank
This
you. Glad
was
you guys
so
have.
great. Thank you for demystifying it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
This was a lot of fun, and I appreciate your time and your experimentation. We
Yeah,
benefit from that. Thank you so
great.
much.
You're welcome. I'm glad everyone had fun.
Thank
Now,
you.
Yeah.
now you can experiment it on your shirt.
I'm gonna make
Everybody,
patches out of this and
Yeah.
sew it onto my pants.
great. Look at that.
That's cute. All right. Well, it's almost 8:30. I think I have one more session coming up in June before summer. It's going to be Marilyn and I. We've been working collaboratively on a book, a rotating, well, a collaborative bookmaking project, where eventually we will swap back and forth and work in each other's books. And the theme of the book was um, the book of joy, trying to keep joy in the midst of the chaos that is out there in the world. So,
That's
um,
cool.
filling it with stuff that makes us happy. So we will, I'll send that out. I believe the date is the 18th of June, so I'll send a reminder out the week before. In the meantime, good luck surviving the last few weeks of school. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next month.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks for
Bye. Thank you.
joining.
Good
Thank
night. Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Faye.
You're welcome. Likewise.
Thanks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.